Yes.
Perfect. Okay, we will get going. So welcome everybody to the 2020 annual meeting virtually. I know we had to switch things up because we couldn't meet in person, so appreciate everyone's understanding there. And we will go. First up, review the agenda. So we will approve the minutes from the 2019 annual meeting, which I actually already sent out the vote on that, and it did pass unanimously. So we can record that, and Nora, we can send you all of the vote details for the minutes.
Got it.
Next up will be presentation by the board of directors on the status of the Friends, followed by a brief presentation by the Roseville Public Library. And we will follow up with our election for officers, and there's a few comments, and then we will adjourn. So hopefully wrapping this up by 6. So brief overview, board of directors for this year, myself, Matt Bridge, the president, Melissa Roden was the vice president, Marcia Lucas was our treasurer, Suzanne Sheets our secretary, and then at large we had Nora Letty, Jessica Turner, Kelsey Short, Sherry Linville Young, Natasha Castile is our city librarian and is on the board, and Nicole Kujakov was our teen member. Accomplishments for the year. We had our Facebook reach jumped up 33%. We're almost up to 1,000 followers. Instagram, we're almost to 600. We're up 70%. That seems to be a growing platform there for us. The used book revenue was up 17% for the budget and almost 40% year over year before we got shut down. So the first 6 months we were doing great on used book revenue. So between the used book sales, the bookstores, and the online sales, we were knocking it out of the park. So thank you to all who volunteer there and to all who help shop our sales. We were doing great there. We helped fund several new programs with the Roseville Public Library. We'll get to those in just a second. And holiday giving campaign, we raised almost $4,500 for outreach programs to specific for Roseville's underserved neighborhoods. The library is not ready to put that program into place yet, so we're just holding those funds for the time that they are ready, and we have to raise a little bit more to meet our goal, but that was a great holiday giving campaign accomplishment. And coming up, the last one, we donated over $400 to our sponsors during our Friends Helping Friends campaign. That was when everyone had to start sheltering in place. We had to cancel our events. Many of our sponsors were impacted by not being able to be in business or having to modify their business. We made a decision to try to run some contests, do some outreach to help promote the Friends, but also promote our sponsors. And so as part of that, we gave out some gift cards to help support the businesses and then also help support our members and followers. They could win the gift cards by taking part in online contests. So that was a fun little thing we did for some outreach the last few weeks. Oops, whoa, went way too far. Previous and previous. There we go. Some of the new programs that our Friends Funds kicked off for the library this year. One was Vox Books. So these are books with essentially a built-in integrated MP3 player. So as you can see, children can plug in headphones, or they cannot plug in headphones and it'll read to them. But it'll help read along. It's like my old Fisher-Price record player that I used to have to put the record on and hit play and read along in the book. But this is new technology. So that and those are very popular at the library and something that our donations helped fund. Another program was the third grade initiative. And so this is outreach to third graders at our local schools, trying to show the the students the resources that are available at the library, get them excited about getting a library card, because the third grade is when young students and young readers start changing from learning how to read to reading to learn new things. And so that's a very important time in their lives where we need them to really capture the reading and get into it so that they can stay ahead. And so that's a program that our library rolls out to the Roseville City School District, and something that's great. And they get their own little library card there that's different than everybody else's. Canopy was a streaming platform that we rolled out. So it's my girls love this. They can pull up a book to read. It's a movie, but it might be of a book, or there's lots of other programming. There's lots of programming for adults. They've got a lot of the greats courses. So if you want to learn something, you can do that. There are some limits on adult content, but on the kids programming, it's unlimited, and all you need is your library card. I access mine on a Roku device. I think you can do it on Amazon devices. Pull it up on your computer, your phone. It's a great resource that's available, especially while everyone's staying at home. BrainFuse, there was a online tutoring studying, so students could get questions answered and get help with homework and those types of things online. Another program that was rolled out. And the last one was Newsbank, so access to a variety of publications through the internet. And again, all you need is your library card. You can sign up for access those online. Challenges for the year. Well, we have building our member and donor network still, well, A, because of COVID, but B, it's slow going, especially with social media. There seems to be some fatigue, I think, related to some of between politics and other things that our primary sources of getting out there and getting our organization known has been through social media and our members. And so we just need to continue working on that and find some new ways, because even though you see our growth and the accomplishments, a lot of those members are no longer accessed. So they may still like us, but they may not be accessing their page anymore. We're not getting a lot of interaction, even though we do have that number of followers. We're not getting nearly that interaction or views. So we have to figure out a new way to reach people. Next up, recovery from the COVID-19 impact. So as I was talking about, our book sales and our events and everything was going great. We were having a knockout year, and then everyone had to go home, and like everyone, other nonprofits and businesses and individuals, everyone was impacted. And so eventually we're going to have to recover and open our bookstores back up and get back to running. So that will be a challenge coming up. Along those lines, just being heard through the noise. There's lots going on, lots of nonprofits, lots of politics out there, and we have to make our message heard out there. And then building corporate relationships is the last challenge. We lost our person was in charge of that, and we need to we have to have someone step up and take that role so that we can really build that out. So, whoops, it said Natasha, because I did not have a chance to change that, and it's not letting me go to previous. There we go. There we go. So Rachel, would you like to give everybody a quick update on how the library is doing? And you might need to unmute yourself there.
Yes, I did. I was looking for the button. It's different for every program. So I'll give you some kind of numbers to start, and I'll tell you some of the things we were able to accomplish over the last year. And some of our numbers are a little off because we had to stop counting some of them in March, but that's okay. They're still great. we also were on track to do really, really well. So from last July to now, we've been able to circulate 845,000 items. And we did take a break for a while, but then we started up with our sidewalk pickup. So we were able to add some numbers in the last 4 weeks. So that's a positive thing. We have 6,215 library card holders. And again, we had to take a short break for giving out new library cards, but we began our online self-registration, and we had a couple of kinks. We worked through those, and we've had about 700 new registrations, and that's not including those who have called and been able to upgrade their cards to full library cards, and they've been doing that and taking advantage of our sidewalk pickup in the last 4 weeks as well. From July through March, we've had a little bit over 310,000 visitors to the libraries. And those people have asked over almost 24,000 reference questions at our front desk. So, those numbers are huge. So we've been doing really great. Our public computer sessions, 36,000 from July through March. And then for our program attendance, we've had 19,700 attendees at library programs. So, and a fun fact, I pulled out some ebook usage numbers, and those were able to jump from 10,900 in February to 17,500 in April. So because we were closed and we were able to give those online cards and really promote ebooks, there was a huge jump in those numbers. Some things we were able to accomplish over the past year. Like you mentioned, the third grade initiative, we were able to visit schools in all of the districts serving Roseville. And plus we were able to go to a couple of private schools and charter schools as well. And as a result of that, we have given out 145 new third grade initiative cards. And we always talk about, but how do we measure the siblings and the parents that also get cards when those third graders come in to get their cards? And we haven't figured out how to do that yet, but a lot of times when a third grader came to activate the card, if the parent did not have a card, they got one as well. That was always a positive experience for our staff. Tule Lake, again, supported by the Friends, we had over 100 people attend the reception for that exhibit. And then, of course, the number of people that came in to view that at the downtown library was very well received. We have received the STEAM grant in partnership with Adventure Clubs, which is, we partner to help bring the STEAM education to an after-school program. This is brand new, just working on the plans now. So you'll be hearing more about that, next year. We can tell you the results of that. But that's something excited that we're currently working on and getting ready for. And of course, a huge accomplishment is being able to work through all the COVID-19 related stuff. We were able to come up with a brand new service that we have never done before, implement it, and it's super successful, and that's our sidewalk pickup. And it's going really, really well. Our customers appreciate it. And during 12 and 4, Tuesday through Saturday, we are busy, busy, busy. So related to the COVID changes and stuff, Jeff Neerson's going to tell you a little bit about what the library is doing to keep staff safe and our facilities kind of up to standards. So we'll let him do that.
Yeah. Matt, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. All right, so yeah, so just bouncing off Rachel. Obviously, these are different times for us right now, and certainly one of our main initiatives, kind of in this stage, was how can we provide a service to our residents in whatever means we could, with the idea of keeping staff and keeping customers safe. And so, as Rachel alluded to with the sidewalk pickup, our first phase of library services is providing that service where people can put books on hold. They pull up into a parking stall out at Riley and/or Maidu. They call us inside the facility, give us their name and/or library card. We go pull those holds for them. We check the books out, and then we walk out. And what we do is we put the books in a bag if there's a lot, or if there's a few, we'll put them on a table. and we'll wait for the customer to walk up once we kind of identify their name associated with the book that they checked out. We kind of create our distance and walk back from the table, and and say thank you for using our service. And so, we're not interacting with customers kind of on this face-to-face without having a considerable amount of distance with our customers. They're not coming inside the facilities. So, we're following the guidelines of the CDC pretty diligently regarding cleanliness. We're sanitizing, where staff are coming in, they're sanitizing when they get to work, they're sanitizing throughout the day, they're sanitizing when we leave. We all go gangbusters and wipe everything down. All staff are required to wear masks inside the facility. So all of our full-time staff have been given a mask to wear, and so they're required to wear that. And then the books being quarantined, and this is a recommendation that from the CDC to quarantine books for 72 hours. And so when we receive the books in the book drop, we go ahead and staff are fully gowned up. They have aprons, face masks, gloves, and they pull those books, and we have identified rooms at both facilities as quarantine rooms. So those books get put into those rooms, put on a table that's been identified of what day they were pulled, and they're left there. And then after 3 days is when we go back into that room and pull those books and check those books in. So every book that's dropped off in the book drop is quarantined for 72 hours. And I commend staff because they're very cognizant and very diligent about the safety of themselves inside the facility, and they're doing a great job taking all those precautions. And going back to again what Rachel said, it has been amazing to get the feedback from our customers in regards to just how much they appreciate. Although it's a limited service, it's a service that they've been looking forward, when we shut down, and they're absolutely utilizing it to its fullest. I mean, we're checking out sometimes 15 to 20 books to one customer at a time, and we're seeing the same faces come back and back each and every other day picking up books. So I think we're meeting our customers' needs right now with as much as we can provide. And so, but again, I think we're doing everything we can to keep everybody safe during this time. So.
Yep. And I just want to say thank you for everything that you guys do for us, that you give us. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I mentioned, of course, you sponsored, so we're not able to do a lot of these extras and these community support features without your help. So thank you.
Oh, and you didn't mention the summer reading program. Do you want to mention how that's changing?
Sure. It's all online now. I actually don't have all the details yet because I know a lot of it's still being worked out, but we do have Beanstack. That's the app that you can get, or the website you can go to, and you keep track of your reading. I was invited to go shopping with a couple of staff members this week to get books because they can children, teens, like I said, I'm lacking on the details, but they will still be given a book as a prize. We have raffle prizes to help entice them more than just the book. So we'll have drawings on the app. There are badges that they can earn so they can still be active over the summer, different art activities or outdoor activities that they could do to earn badges and earn points. And the more that they do, the more tickets that they can earn to be put in for the raffle prizes.
Yeah, I signed up our family. It was really easy on Saturday. So yeah, you can put your whole family on the account, so you can identify who the children are, and then the children have certain tasks that they can achieve on, and then the adults have different tasks that they get to record as well. So that was looking forward to seeing how that one works.
Yeah.
And then I did want to mention when you were talking about reference questions, just a quick side note. So I was just reading a book. It's called The Library Book. It's a story about the Los Angeles Public Library. And it goes through the whole history of it. And at one point they were talking about one of their most popular services before the age of your cell phones was essentially the help line at night. And so they were asked, I forgot the frequency, but it was a couple of calls a minute that they were getting to answer essentially like beer bet, like people at bars when they're trying to solve a dispute on trivia or something like that. They would get so many calls just from people out in the evening. That was between like 11 and 2 was that like 11 at night to 2 in the morning was that like their hot time, where they got the most calls from people calling in and trying to get answers to win their bet. So I found that very amusing. But we don't need that one anymore. But,
no, we don't.
It's a great book, by the way, if you want to check it out. It's the library book. It's a story about the Los Angeles library, that there was a fire, and it kind of goes through the history of all the librarians that went through there, and a little background on the fire itself and who they thought caused it, and it's pretty interesting. But moving on, let's see. All right, moving into the fun stuff. So financials. There's going to be asterisks on a lot of these things right now because we don't really know what's happening at the next few months. So we had budgeted as far as income to bring in $47,500 on books and events. Actually, a total of little over $72,000 between everything. So far, we are at about half of that, but we've last 3 months to go. Projections for the end. I don't know how much we're going to do on books and events. We might be able to do another trivia night online. We have some online book sales. We might be able to do some other things, but I'm not putting too much into that one. Dues and donations, we can still continue doing that. We may come up with some new ideas to try to bump that up. We did not apply for any grants this year. Teen fundraising, we did not have a program there, and then investment income is actually moving along as planned, so that should be fine. So we'll probably, our best guess right now would be to end up around $42,000 in income.
Matt, I have Melissa, a really quick question. I know that the teen group wasn't very active, but they did have that one rummage sale at the very beginning of the year. Did that amount to anything at all? Or was it more money?
That was the prior year. So our fiscal year.
Was applied to the former year?
Yep. Fiscal year starts in September.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. So on the expense side, we break up our expenses into the mission expenses, which are really anything that's involved with, behind the mission of our organization, and then admin expenses. So on the mission side, we had planned on spending about $48,000, mostly on library programs and materials, and then a little bit on some advocacy, lobbying, and supporting our volunteers. So fiscal year to date, we've given a little over $15,000 to the library, spent $445 on some of the advocacy and lobbying expenses, and then again, we don't know what's going to happen the rest of the year. So the library is supposed to be getting back to us on what other programs that we will be funding through the end of the year. But so as soon as we find out, we'll be plugging that one in, but we don't know what that is at the moment. Because the library is a general fund department, if we give them money and it doesn't get used, it would roll into the general fund, and so that's why both of us would prefer that any money we give them actually gets used for the library. So that's why we're not just going to write them a check at this point. We're going to wait for them to make sure that they have an immediate need for it before the fiscal year. On the admin side, we had budgeted about $16,000 for total admin expenses. We're coming in well under that. We're not even at 5,000 right now, and we'll probably end up around 600. We have a couple more system expenses that will come into play, and a couple more things, but we'll be able to keep that low, which, come on. which when you put it all together, so we were budgeting to have about an $8,500 surplus, meaning we would be able to essentially put $8,500 into our reserves. Fiscal year to date, income is exceeding our expenses primarily because we have not moved a lot of funds over to the library, and so we're actually have a $17,000 surplus. And the projection for the year, based off the numbers I showed you, would be about a $20,000 surplus, which is great, but again, things may change significantly. We just don't have the visibility to let you know what that is at the time. There we go. This shows the last few years. So as you can see, COVID did have a bit of an impact. But the good news is 2017, 2018, we were, we still weren't, the blue line is our expenses, our income, and we weren't quite covering our expenses there. Last year, we were just about break even. Our plan this year was to, even though we're a nonprofit, we can still have a surplus. We were planning to have a small surplus, and right now we have a large surplus, but that's more related to accounting. So again, this is a best picture of what we've got right now. We do have money set aside, as many of you know, in an endowment fund with the Placer Community Foundation. And so that we have current balance, well, the most recent reported balance is $55,000. That's as of the end of March. And as you can see, the black line I threw in the black line just so you can see kind of how the stock market in general was performing at the same time. And you can see when it made a big drop, was pretty much at the beginning of the year through March was that time period was a significant drop. Therefore, our balance dropped a little bit as well. But we do have $6,800 that we will be able to pull out if and when we need it as part of the endowment fund. So moving forward, this is a great tool for us we want to continue to build it up. It's in perpetuity. The money will be able to be used for the Roseville Public Library. It'll go directly to the Friends for now, but if we ever should cease to exist, the money would then start going directly to the Roseville Public Library. So it's a great tool that's out there. So state of the organization, we have strong financial health. We've got $80,000 plus in our reserves and $34,000 in our bank accounts. We still have a strong volunteer force, but we do need to start thinking about developing succession planning and training of new leaders. So that needs to be a focus this next year on making sure that we can quickly bring in people with orientation and training so that we don't run out of volunteers. And operations were growing great before COVID-19, and how soon will book sales and event income return to normal? But we'll see what happens. But we were in a great position prior to that. This is goals for next year. From the organization standpoint, we want to fill the open board positions, which you'll see later. Emphasis on donor stewardship and leadership and corporate fundraising. We want to, kind of what I just talked about, documenting our processes and develop orientation training so we can, the volunteers that we do bring in, it's easier for us to get them up to speed so they understand how they can help us. From the development and operations side, we need to start expanding donation options and outreach channels. So like I mentioned before, the social medias and our email is performing okay, but we need to continue to grow that, and we need to figure out new ways to bring people in and provide donation options for them. and a return from COVID-19. So figuring out how to safely restart the used books operation. So the sales, the stores, just the safety of our volunteers who would be sorting materials. Once the library is open, we need to be able to do that in a safe manner. So that will definitely be one of our goals. And that's, don't know why it keeps on jumping 2 slides. So lastly, just a comment on volunteers. If any of you are interested, we do need help, and we would gladly accept your help. And then just a note that prior to COVID-19, volunteers had put in more than 1,800 hours in the 6 months. So thank you to all the volunteers who provide time in the bookstores, to our board members who donate their time. We cannot do this without you. And we do have a quick, there's no sound to this, but it is a, are you kidding me? There we go. Let's see how this works. We do have a short video. There we go. To express our appreciation, this will be sent out to all our volunteers because we can't be with them in person.
It's not working very well, Matt.
Yes.
It was a lot smoother before. Maybe.
Okay.
No, it did. It just was really jumpy, like really long on some frames and short on others. I think it's just because you're trying to stream it. It didn't go as smoothly as it originally did. But oh well, it's fine.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
But yeah, we'll be sending that out to all our volunteers. And then hopefully once we can get together again, we will give them a bigger thank you.
Melissa, was that your slide that you made? I think that was Melissa's work. Sorry,
yes, thank you, Melissa, for putting that together.
That looked really good. Thanks, Melissa.
Oh, and actually, I should have the Tequila Mockingbird showed up there for all of you who haven't been part of our meetings. We have decided to delay Tequila Mockingbird until next summer. One, just out of a unsure whether people are going to be attending events, although the little bit I do venture out, it seems like people are more than happy to go out in the community right now, but I don't know how many people would actually attend. And secondly, we rely so heavily on our corporate sponsors for that event that we didn't want to give them an extra burden. So we will move that off till next summer and hope to see everybody back with some great cocktails and food next year. So for next year,
Matt, sorry,
yes.
Can I add really quick, just for those who haven't been involved on the board and heard the updates, that prior to deciding to cancel the event, our Tequila Mockingbird committee we had like 10 people involved and it was going really strong. We had a really early start on everything. And so I think we're in a good position come next year to pick it up and improve the event. Even though Matt's done a phenomenal job with it in the past, we have some big goals. So anyway, I just wanted to add that.
Oh, yeah, Melissa and her group with Sherry and others took the reins on putting together Tequila Mockingbird this year, and they were doing a great job. So hopefully we can, I'm sure next year we will put on a great event. For this coming year, the board of directors, we have myself, Nora, Marsha Lucas, Melissa Roden, Sherry Linville Young, Jessica Turner, Kelsey Short, We have 6 open positions. Natasha is still our ex officio from the city as the city librarian, and we will have a teen member. Melissa is working on a process to bring on a teen member for the coming year, but as you can imagine, with everybody home, it makes it a little bit more difficult. We are do want to throw in a thank you right now to Suzanne Sheets. She's stepping down after many years with the Friends of the Library. She was our secretary for the last few years, so big thank you to Suzanne for all her efforts. We appreciate everything you have done, and hopefully you'll stick around for to help out where you can. But yes, thank you. So we'll move into the election of the officers for the coming year. The committee put together the following the ballot. So president nominated myself. We've nominated myself to be president for next year. Next year will be my final. This will be my final year per the bylaws to be able to be an officer. So I will make the most of it. Vice President Melissa Roden, Secretary Nora Letty, and Treasurer Marsha Lucas. We did send out the voting to all the members. Everybody who responded came back approving, so that was a unanimous decision. And again, Nora, we will send you the vote so you can have it recorded. Little unfortunate news just from the last couple of weeks. Jane Corbett, she was one of the original members from our board. She passed away. She was on the group with Martha Riley and Lenore and the original group. So yes, I don't know if her family made it on the call today, but they were invited to join. Memorial plans for Jane are on hold at the moment, but once the family is able to figure out what they're able to do, we will let our members know what's going on there. As far as plans, you can certainly donate to the Friends in her memory if you wish to do so. The family is trying to put together a book drive in her name as well. So once we're able to do so, we will update you some more. But for those of you who may have known Jane, I did not have the pleasure, but just giving you an update there. And thank you. Thanks to Jane for all she did over the years. Some quick updates. We were able to do a trivia night. So this is a screenshot from that. We worked with the Roseville Area Chamber. They reached out to us wanting to do something different for their happy hour. So they wanted to do a trivia night. We put it together using Zoom. It was a whole lot of fun. I think Suzanne and some others joined in from our group, but it was a fun time. We think we're going to look to do our Harry Potter trivia, roll that into online Zoom. And now that we know what we're doing, and we'll make the most of it, but because we don't know the next time we'll be able to actually be in Monk's Cellar, trying to put 80 people in there. But a whole lot of fun. Another announcement, another way you can help the Friends out, we've got t-shirts up. So if you go to cottonbureau.com and search for Roseville FOL, and I think Nora's got hers on. I've got mine on. You can buy some designs that $5 from any one of these designs would benefit the Friends. You can get different colors, different styles. They have kind of a woman's cut. They have tank tops. They have shirts, hooded sweatshirts, different colors. The designs are generic intentionally, just because we would like anyone who supports the library to be able to pick one up. So that's why they don't specifically mention the Roseville Library or the Friends. But yeah, so far we've brought in about, I think, $80 or $85 from sales here. So just
Matt,
yeah.
Did you make those designs?
I did, yes.
So impressive.
Thank you. But yeah, so the service is free to us. So all we have to do is, there's no cost. Our designs just get put on the website, and people order shirts, and we get a cut every time someone orders our design. So it's a low risk option for us. And again, you can find those on Cotton Bureau, and just search for Roseville FOL, and you'll see our designs. Other options, of course, you can donate online using our website. We do have a nice convenient way if you want to set up a monthly, quarterly, or annual recurring donation of any amount. You can do that, and that's just an easy way, so you don't have to remember to donate every year or something, or you can spread your payments out throughout the year if you'd like. But that is another way you can help out. And lastly, did want to thank our corporate sponsors, Law Office of Alexandria Goff. Actually, I think you just changed your name, Allie, so I do need to get an updated logo from you. Beautiful Smiles Dentistry, Cochran Wageman Funeral Directors, the Monk Cellar, the Roseville Auto Mall, who helps put on, they're the sponsor of our annual meeting every year, and Tri-Counties Bank, our Platinum members, and our Gold members are Big Spoon Yogurt at the Fountains, Denio's Farmers Market, and Asaya's Mobile Auto Detailing. That concludes the prepared presentation. If anyone had questions, I'd be happy to, and myself or the board of the library would be happy to answer.
Hey, Matt, can you hear me?
Yep.
This is Kathy.
Yes,
I
I
turned
can.
off my video. I turned off my video because you guys kept freezing up on me. So I was catching like every 18th word. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to me. So I just wanted to take the opportunity just to thank the Friends of the Library. This has been a very rough year for everyone. I realize that, but we're really looking forward to next year, and we know that next year we're going to be business. How we do business is going to have to change. And so the partnership with the Friends, I think, is going to be extra important. But we appreciate you guys kind of plugging along with us. And, I got the email, Matt, that you had sent Natasha. And I literally was like, I don't know how to answer that question because we're not even spending our own money. I mean, it's other than, staff time right now and stuff like that, that we can't even order books at a pace and get them in time and stuff. So, or other materials as well. So, it's just, please bear with us as we kind of work through this and figure out the new way that we're running the library, and we'll keep you all posted and everything. But, your partnership is really important to us, especially going through this PowerPoint and seeing how much of what you guys actually do support of what we do. We just want you to know on behalf of the City of Roseville and the library staff that it means a lot to us. It's really important, and it's vital to the library's success. So thank you very much.
It's our pleasure, Kathy. We love the library. That's why we're involved.
Cool.
Any questions from attendees?
Well, I have via text, Allie Goff would like to know where her thank you cupcakes are. Oh my God.
This is Dave. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What kind of triggers are we looking for before we could enable book sales again?
Yeah, good question.
That's a good question. So obviously the libraries would have to be open, and we would have to put together, plans on keeping it safe. So social distancing and how to keep the volunteers and patrons safe. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like at this point. And so as soon as we kind of get a go ahead on the library being open, maybe we can start, we'll start thinking about how we get our volunteers back up and running. I would imagine the bookstores will be would be the first thing to open. But a book sale, obviously, you have a lot more people crammed into it, the area, and both from a volunteer perspective and patrons. So unfortunately, I don't know when we'll be able to do that again.
Are we assuming the July book sale is a no-go?
That would be my assumption, yeah.
Matt, again, this is Jeff Nearson. I just want to, just on that topic, we are, obviously we're still in that stage 2, haven't moved really into stage 3 yet regarding kind of, how we can open up the libraries. But just so you know, we are starting to plan and put together kind of what that next phase for us opening means and what that looks like. And so as we start to wrap our heads around that and put something together, we'll definitely keep in mind kind of how the Friends of the Library play a role in that opening. At how much, what phase, what type of services, again, to your point, how do we start maybe bringing back some of the volunteers to get inside the libraries? So we'll definitely keep you guys posted and have that communication with you, over the next several weeks as we start to put together our second phase of library opening. So I just want to make sure I get that out there, because I think that was a great question of kind of when can you guys get back in the library? We're starting to think about what that second phase could be. So I don't have a timeline or a date for that, but we are starting to think that far ahead what that next phase is. So.
In the meantime, I've started enjoying the audio books, so I can sit down while I work and listen to books at 1.5 speed, and fun.
Just out of curiosity, sorry, this is Melissa. I know that part of the planning is having to consider the volunteers getting into the library to go through the books or figure out what's going to be for sale. But in terms of the sale itself, is there any way that we could consider doing it outside, like at Riley, at a downtown library, for instance? We have our volunteer room down at the bottom. It could maybe go out into the parking lot area there, just take the books right from the volunteer area straight out into the parking lot. Or at MyDo, it could maybe go from the volunteer area out to the lawn. So, just to maybe have some creative thinking, and then limit the amount of people who can actually be in the sales area at any given time. So I know there's still all the coordinating of books and volunteers, but just a thought.
Yeah, we'll have to think about all the different options there. Joan, would you want to have one outside?
Having one outside in good weather is a great idea. The other issue is that our donations have dropped off dramatically. So having the materials to sell is going to be a challenge for a bit until we open and can. We've been getting some, but not like normal. So that's another layer of detail we have to deal with.
I've got about 4 bags sitting in my office here.
Good.
Just waiting.
Yeah.
So
people have been very, very busy cleaning out their shelves, and they want a place to put it, and they think of us, which is fabulous. But
Okay. Any other questions?
I just want to say thank you, Matt, and all the rest of the volunteers on the board. It's been great working with the board, and you all are great people to work with, and so I hope I see you more, if not, just not at the meetings.
Likewise, yeah. Thank you again for all your service and what you've done. We appreciate it. All right. If there's no other questions, we can adjourn. I guess we didn't take a vote on adjourning because we can't. So do I have a motion to adjourn? Joan moves. And okay, Melissa seconds. You got that, Nora? Okay. And we'll do a raise your hand. All in favor? Okay, perfect. Any opposed? All right. Well, that concludes our 2020 annual meeting. Thank you again for bearing with the audio and technological fun with having to hold one of these online. We will have a recording of the meeting available for those who couldn't make it, but look forward to seeing you next year in person. And thank you all for your help with the friends. Have a good one.